Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1932 AN. Today's date is August 1st, 2019, and the title of the episode is, What? You thought the economic plan was going to be in a straight line? Now, before I get started, did you know that every year the U.S. Mint releases new coins into its America the Beautiful 5-ounce coin series? This has been running since 2010, and they cover the kind of things that make America great, like our national parks and landmarks. Check out the coin and look at the size of this coin. This year, the Mint has chosen to celebrate Lowell and the Fight of the Mill Girls, War in the Pacific National Historic Park, War in the Pacific, the San Antonio Missions, and the River of No Return, the Salmon Valley Wilderness Park. These slices of American history and heritage are difficult to get hold of, and they sell out quick. Incredibly, Noble Gold has managed to secure some. And as an Independence Day special, they're doing a combo of their own best-selling Trump 2020 Freedom 1-ounce silver coin with one of the America the Beautiful coins at a discount of $25 for the two during July or until they sell out of these coins. This is a generous offer and unbeatable value for such special and rare coins. Go to TrumpCoin2020.com and use the code X22Report25 to receive this incredible discount. Let's get into the economic collapse financial news. Now, for those people who thought that the economic plan or the entire plan altogether was going to happen in a straight line, you need to remove those expectations. Any plan, any negotiation, anything that you're trying to accomplish which benefits yourself, it takes time. Plus, you're going to hit some bumps in the road. You're going to hit some curves. There's going to be ups and downs. We've seen this many, many times before. Sometimes you need to go all the way around until you reach that goal. It's almost like losing weight. You start off, everything seems great. You're losing weight, and then all of a sudden you plateau and you get upset. Oh, look, it's not working anymore. No, changes have to be made. Adjustments. And then you continually lose weight. Or if you're negotiating a new car and you're sitting there in the dealership with a car salesman, you don't walk in and say, okay, what do you got? I'll take it. And that's that. If you do that, you're paying the highest price. You didn't make the best deal. And it's not in your favor. Now, when you sit there and you say, okay, listen, I want this free. I want this price down here. I want this interest rate. This takes some time. Because you're negotiating for yourself. You're negotiating to benefit yourself. Now, the sales manager, the salesman, they're negotiating to benefit themselves. And they're going to fight back. And I don't mean physically fight. They're going to counter everything that you do until you reach a middle point. And sometimes you have to get up and say, I can't accept this deal. And see if they will fold. This is what Trump is doing right now. This economic plan, the entire plan, does not happen in a straight line. And sometimes you have to show countries, salesmen, individuals that, listen, I don't have to go along with this. I can get up and leave. I can place tariffs on you. It makes no difference to me. Once you have that mindset that it doesn't really matter and you're not desperate and you can walk away at any time, the other side becomes desperate. Now, the salesman, the manager, they want the commission. They want a sale. They desperately want it because they don't know when the next customer's coming in. So you have leverage. Trump is doing the same thing. He has leverage. He has tariffs. He can walk away. He can say, all right, I'll wait. And it's not going to happen in a straight line. And this is exactly what he's doing. We'll be talking about that a little bit later in this report. But first, I wanted to head out to the UK because we are seeing exactly what we thought was going to happen. Now, we know Boris Johnson now is the Prime Minister. He's promising there's going to be a Brexit come October. We're getting closer and closer to that deadline. And as we get closer and closer, we know that the EU, they're going to gin up the idea that the UK will not be safe, and they're going to push fear to try to make the country do what they want. Now, the EU is not going to budge on their deal. The UK is going to say, if you don't budge, guess what? It's a no deal. So right now, what the EU is doing is they're saying that if the UK exits the EU, they will have increased money laundering, especially to fund terrorist organizations. They will not be able to track terrorists, and they will not be able to use Europol. The UK, the country itself, will not be able to stop certain events within their country. They're using a fear tactic. They're saying if there's a no-deal scenario and you just leave the EU, guess what? The country's going to have problems. Now, once again, are you trying to tell me the UK can't figure this out? They can't talk to other nations? Come on. They're using fear tactics just like they did with the referendum. If you vote yes for the referendum, the entire system's going to collapse the next day. Did it? No. The same thing with the BREXIT. They're pushing fear. And this is going to get worse and worse as we get closer to the month of October. And we'll have to watch and see how this all plays out and see what Boris Johnson does and how he maneuvers around all of this. Now, the U.S. Department of Agriculture on August 1st confirmed private sales to China of 68,000 tons of soybeans for the 2019-2020 marketing year. This is the first such purchase by a private buyer since the trade war between the world's two largest economies broke out more than a year ago. It was the first new soybean purchase by China since a 544,000-ton sale was announced in late June, and the first since Beijing offered to exempt 5 private crushers in the country from 25% import tariffs. And we can see that Trump, the Patriots, they are trying to make a deal with China. They're not going to give in, just like with a car salesman and you're trying to buy a car. They're going to use leverage, and they're going to stick to what benefits the United States. Trump tweeted out the following: "Our representatives have just returned from China where they had constructive talks having to do with a future trade deal. We thought we had a deal with China 3 months ago, but sadly, China decided to renegotiate the deal prior to signing. More recently, China agreed to buy agricultural products from the U.S. in large quantities, but did not do so. Additionally, my friend Xi said that he would stop the sale of fentanyl to the United States. This never happened, and many Americans continue to die. Trade talks are continuing, and during the talks, the U.S. will start, on September 1st, putting a small additional tariff of 10% on the remaining $300 billion of goods and products coming from China into our country. This does not include the $250 billion already tariffed by 25%. We look forward to continuing our positive dialogue with China on a comprehensive trade deal and feel that the future between our two countries will be a very bright one." So China, because Trump tweeted out the other day that they didn't buy any agricultural products, they decided to buy some soybeans, and they didn't buy the other things that they promised. They also didn't stop the fentanyl sales here in the United States. And this is why Trump is out there telling China and showing China that we mean business. This is not what it used to be, where we had certain deep state players in positions and they were just giving everything to China. That's not negotiations. Negotiations look like this. Listen, we want this, and if you don't give it to us, we have the leverage. We can place tariffs. We can wait. What can you do? Can you wait? Do you like the tariffs? Well, come to the negotiating table. Let's work something out. You need to give. We'll look at it, and we'll come to a meeting point in the center. This is how negotiations work. And it seems that China, where they're making these promises, they haven't really kept them. And this is why Trump is saying, listen, you don't believe me? I'm going to show you. I will place additional tariffs on this on the additional tariffs on the 300 billion. Now, is this going to destroy the economy? Is the economy going to come down? No. Remember, all the financial pundits, the economists, they said this before. Well, if Trump goes ahead and he places tariffs on China, it's going to be a complete and utter disaster. And the economy, statistically, took off. Now, yes, we saw the market come down. And why do you think Trump did this and announced this now? Right after the Fed cut rates. The Fed cut rates by a quarter point. Trump came out and announced more tariffs. This is already built into the cake here. And as we move forward, this will all even out and the economy will start to move up again. And when I say the economy, Trump points to the stock market, the deep state, the mainstream media, the central bank. They always talk about the stock market being the economy. We know it's not, but Trump is using their weapons against them, using that as a gauge, showing the people, don't worry, we've seen this before. I've done this on purpose to get this out of the way. And as we move forward into the month of August, into September, and the Fed brings an end to their tightening, we're going to see another rate cut. We're going to see stimulus. And the market and everything else statistically is going to take off. This is all part of the plan. Now, people are saying, well, this is going to be no good for the economy. It won't improve the economy. It's going to create bigger bubbles. Trump, the Patriots, they're not worried about the bigger bubbles. They're not worried about this economy. Trump right now, everything that you see him doing, this is in preparation for the other economy, the people's economy, which is running parallel to the central bank economy. Just like in the 70s or prior to the 70s, where we had the gold standard economy and we had their new petrodollar economy, which they were creating behind the scenes, behind the curtain. No one really knew about that. The same thing's happening here. Now, Trump knows that there's only a certain period of time where he can keep this entire system going. I mean, once this time frame ends, the entire central bank system will collapse. And he needs the interest rates lowered because the payment on the debt, if interest rates moved up, it would be astronomical. Now, think about the interest payments on the debt. Right now, the U.S. income statement, the most concerning part of it is that for the first 4 months of fiscal year 2019, interest payments on the U.S. national debt hit $221 billion, 9% more than the same 5-month period last year, with the rate of increase breathtaking. As a reminder, according to the Treasury's conservative budget estimates, interest on the U.S. public debt is on track to reach a record $591 billion. That's $500 billion, more than the entire budget deficit in the year of 2014 and 2015. And it equates to almost 3% of estimated GDP. And this is the highest percentage since 2011. In fact, as of June 30th, U.S. interest had already surpassed $600 billion. Now, the real red flag is that starting in 2024, when the primary deficit drops to zero according to latest projections, all U.S. debt issuance will be used to fund the U.S. net interest expense, which, depending on the prevailing interest rate, between now and then will be anywhere between $700 billion and $1.2 trillion or more. Why do you think Trump wants the rates cut right now? Because this lowers the payments on the debt. That's one reason. And he understands he needs this time to make the deal with China, to make other bilateral trade agreement deals, to rework certain regulations, to bring the people's economy online. This is not a straight shot. He's going around curves. Remember, the deep state, the central bank, they've had a very, very long time to prepare for a globalist economic system. He's ripping this apart. He's dismantling it right now. And he's only had 2 to 3 years to do this. He needs more time. And I'm just saying him, but the people that are working with him, they need more time. And he understands if he lowers the rates, starts stimulus, he will get that time. Now, Trump is not happy with the Fed. He wants them to cut rates even further, which they're going to do. He tweeted out the following. Experts stated that the Fed should not have tightened and then waited too long to undo their mistake. James Bullard of St. Louis Fed said they waited too long to correct the mistake that they made last December. Mistake, Powell cut rate, and then he started talking. And Trump is continually putting this out there, letting everyone know that it's the Fed's fault. If anything happens to the economy right now, the Fed is to blame because they didn't react soon enough. He's building the narrative. And this is all part of the plan. But you will see, come the next week, the week after, you're going to see everything switch around. All of a sudden, the market will start to go up again. Everything will look great again. And then people will say, oh, what just happened here? Now, a lot of the mainstream media and the financial pundits are out there saying, see, look, we told you we were right. If he did a rate cut and he starts stimulus, the market's going to come down. Well, we've seen this before. We've seen what happened when the Fed put a pause on the rate hikes. All of a sudden, the market didn't do as well. And then all of a sudden, it started to do well. This is just the beginning. The market is adjusting. Trump has the magic wand. He threw in the tariffs. This was all done on purpose. And moving forward, we're going to see things change. We're going to see the market move up. Now, I know this has nothing to do with the economy, but this is what the deep state, this is what the mainstream media uses. This is all being done on purpose. Remember, this is the economic show. Behind the curtain, behind the scenes, is what they are really doing. They're constructing a whole new system so we can transition into that system. And we will, once Trump wins the 2020 election. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.